The film starts with Robert Ledyard, who introduces his revolutionary medical creation to a group of scientists. This artificial skin is not only life-changing for burn victims but also resistant to mosquito bites and indistinguishable from real human skin. He dubs the experiment GAL. Robert's work is highly praised, but the company's president has concerns about the materials used for the artificial skin. Robert reveals that he used animal blood and has also conducted illegal transgenic experiments on humans. The president, furious with this news, orders Robert to cease his research. Robert agrees and returns home, where he is holding a young woman named Vera captive with the help of Marilia, his devoted servant. Due to the suspension of his official experiments, Robert asks Marilia to dismiss the other servants. Meanwhile, Vera, tired of her life and Robert's experiments, has attempted suicide multiple times, but the artificial skin prevents any wounds from forming. We learn that Robert is a plastic surgeon who has altered Vera's face to resemble his late wife's. As the plot unfolds, Marilia's son, Zika, arrives at Robert's house after committing a robbery. He pleads with his mother to let him in, and after some hesitation, she opens the door. Zika gorges on food from the refrigerator while noticing Vera on the security camera, thinking she is Robert's wife. He asks Marilia to hide him for a few days, but she refuses. Zika then binds and gags her before entering Vera's room, where he tortures and assaults her. Robert returns home, discovers the assault and shoots Zika. Afterward, he checks on Vera. While disposing of Zika's body, Marilia reveals to Vera that she is the mother of both Zika and Robert, fathered by different men. It was a fact that both Robert and Zika were unaware that they were stepbrothers. Robert was adopted by Marilia's employers but ultimately raised by her. Zika left to live on the streets and became involved in drug smuggling, while Robert attended medical school and married a woman named Gal. One day, Zika visited Robert's house to meet his mother and encountered Robert's wife, Gal. Jealous of Robert's beautiful spouse, Zika returned years later, and he and Gal ran off together. The two were in a terrible car accident, leaving Gal severely burned. Zika, assuming Gal was dead, abandoned her. Robert found Gal and took care of her, telling his wife he helped her recover. Gal's entire body was burned, and she spent her days in grief. There were no mirrors in her room for fear of her reaction to her burned appearance. The couple also had a daughter, Norma, who was kept in the dark about her mother's condition. Robert and Marilia told her Gal was away for work. One day, upon hearing Norma sing, Gal tried to catch a glimpse of her but accidentally saw her own reflection in a window. Shocked and distraught, she screamed and jumped from the window, committing suicide in front of her daughter. This left Norma traumatized, and she was sent to a psychiatric hospital for recovery. In the present, Robert returns and spends the night with Vera, apologizing for his actions. Vera forgives him, and they share an intimate night together. During the night, Robert dreams of his past and his love for his daughter. He wanted to save her from a life in the psychiatric hospital. In his dreams, Robert took Norma to a wedding where she met a boy named Vincent. He led her to a garden and sexually assaulted her. Hearing her screams, Robert found Norma unconscious on the ground as Vincent fled on a motorbike. At the hospital, doctors informed Robert that Norma believed he had assaulted her upon awakening. She developed androphobia, a fear of men, and eventually killed herself by jumping from a window. The scene shifts, and we see Vera's dream. Vicente, a young man who works at his mother's dress shop, attends the wedding and meets Norma. Like others at the party, he is under the influence of drugs. Norma and Vicente go to the garden, where she reveals the medication she is taking. Norma begins to undress, mentioning that she would be naked all the time if she could. Vicente kisses her and compliments her, but while they are lying down with him on top, she reacts frantically to the song playing, as it was the same one Norma was singing when her mother committed suicide. Vicente tries to stop her scream but gets bitten instead. He puts her clothes back on and, nervous and frightened, flees the scene. However, Robert witnesses him leaving. Robert sends Norma to the hospital, believing that Vicente assaulted her. He tracks down Vicente, hits his bike with his truck, and kidnaps him. He disposes of the motorbike in the sea, so the police believe Vicente fell off the cliff while driving under the influence. The police close the case, but Vicente's mother remains determined to find her son. The scene shifts again, revealing that Robert has kept Vicente captive for 6 years. He forcibly transforms Vicente into a girl, gives him new skin, and names him Vera, whose face now resembles Robert's late wife. Vicente is unhappy with his new identity, tries to escape multiple times, and attempts suicide, but his thick skin prevents him from succeeding. Robert hires Marilia to look after Vera, and she is shocked to see Vera's face, which looks identical to Robert's late wife. In the present, Robert and Vera wake up from their sleep and later enjoy breakfast together. Vera suggests that they will live together now as if nothing had ever happened. Meanwhile, Fulgencio, one of Robert's colleagues, reads a news story about the missing Vicente and recognizes him as one of their sex-changed patients. He confronts Robert, accusing him of experimenting on Vicente without consent. Suddenly, Vera arrives and defends Robert, telling Fulgencio that the entire process was done with her consent and that she had always wanted to be a woman. The scene shifts to Robert and Vera sleeping together, but Vera goes to search for lubricant in Robert's office. She notices a photograph attached to the news story about her being missing and realizes her mother has been searching for her all these years, while Robert has held her captive. Angered by the revelation, Vera finds a gun and rushes to Robert's room, shooting him in the chest. Marilia, alerted by the gunshot, enters the room with her own pistol but finds her son Robert dead. Vera shoots Marilia too, and with her dying breath, Marilia says she knew it would happen. Vera leaves Robert's house and visits her mother's boutique, where she finds her former colleague, Christina. She tells Christina about her kidnapping, forced sex change, and the murders of Robert and Marilia. Her mother enters the room, and Vera reveals the truth about what happened to her over the past 6 years. In the final line, Vicente reveals her true identity, saying, "I am Vicente," and the movie ends.